to break into a market saturated with real estate agents. If you're a newly licensed real estate agent or exploring getting started in the real estate industry, a common thought that will come to mind is my market saturated with real estate agents? Well, regardless of whether it is or not, there are some things that you can do to break into that local market and to stand out from your competition. I'm going to share 3 things that you can do specifically to do that, regardless of whether or not your market is saturated with real estate agents. My name is Tyler Roicki. I help people build income and wealth in real estate, and I run an international real estate team at eXp Realty. If there is anything that I can do to help you now or in the future, go ahead and reach out to me. You'll find my information along with some other helpful resources for you in the description below. And if you get any value out of this video, all I'd ask is that you like, comment, and subscribe so that I can continue to share more tips and resources for you in the time ahead. Now, with that in mind, let's dive into the video. So if you're looking to break into your local real estate market, the first thing that you can do is to lean into your uniqueness. So what is it that makes you unique? This is something you're more likely than not going to have to put some thought into, and you really want to formulate your unique value proposition, or in other words, your point of differentiation. What makes you different than every single other real estate agent in your local market area? And it doesn't have to be in the context of real estate. It can be in the context of you as a person. What is unique about you? And it may be a life experience. It may be an interest or a quality or just something about you that not every single other person in this industry has in common. Because once you identify what it is, that is something in which you can communicate with people. That's something in which you can build a brand and a reputation around, and ultimately build the story of what it is that you're building by being in this industry. So what story are you creating? I want you to really think about it. What story are you creating by stepping into real estate? What story is going to be told about you 20 years from now? Because here's the thing, you're in control of that story. Whatever it is, you're in control. It's not about where you are today, it's about where it is that you're going, and you have an opportunity to share your story, to share your value, to share your vision of where it is that you're going and how it is that you're helping people get there in real estate. So really think about what your uniqueness is, and when you've identified it, lean into it. Because here's the thing, a lot of people get started in this industry and they think that they got to look and act and be a certain way. They think they gotta put their realtor suit on and show up as a realtor, whatever they think that means. But I'm telling you, if that's not you, that is the worst possible thing you can do, because you're just not going to show up authentically. It's so important that you show up authentically and be moving in alignment with who it is that you are and what it is that you're about. Because if you're showing up trying to be someone you're not, trying to be what you think a realtor is supposed to look like for people, you're going to be showing up inauthentically, and you're not going to be resonating with anyone because you're not being authentic. See, here's the thing, a lot of people, they might have that unique thing about them, and they might worry about, well, hey, I know I'm not for everyone. What if I show up like this and lose a client? Well, here's the thing, 50% of people are going to be predisposed to like you, and another 50% of people are going to be predisposed to not like you. So do more for the people who like you to get them to love you. So show up as your authentic self. That way the people predisposed to like you will like you even more, and let the rest of the people out there dislike you that much more. Because there's nothing worse than someone who's vanilla, than someone who you don't even know who they really are at the end of the day. They just look, seem, and act like a realtor, but at the end of the day, you didn't really even connect with their personality. From a consumer's eyes, like, they're not going to remember you. It's better if there's something unique about you, something bold about you, something that you put out there that people actually remember you as a result, and it makes you different than the other real estate agents in your market area. So figure out what it is that's unique about yourself and lean into it and start to build your brand and your story around your uniqueness. And if you do that, you will stand out in your local market area. And that's the first thing that you can do to break into a market saturated with real estate agents. The second thing that you can do has to do with your work ethic. So a lot of you would be shocked if you understood just how easy it is to outwork most of the competition. And there's a small percent there where if you're really putting in the work, they'll be doing that with you. They'll be putting in, equally as much work, if not more at first, just because you're learning how to navigate the industry. But you can definitely get to a point where you're among the few that have the highest work ethic and are producing the highest results. Because here's the thing, real estate is a contact sport. And what I mean by that is the people getting the result are the ones that are making the contacts. They're putting in more time, more energy, more effort towards getting their name out there and making sure that people actually know about them, that they're hearing from them, that they're, getting value out of being connected with them. Because everything in real estate starts with a conversation. At the end of every closed deal, there's a conversation that happened on the front end. And a problem that people have getting into this industry is they're not having enough conversations on the front end. They'll have this license and they'll be doing all sorts of different things that will never result in business being closed. It's things that don't involve having conversations with other people. They'll be designing marketing materials and setting up their website and going to trainings. And I'm not saying trainings are bad or that we shouldn't go to them. Of course, we should learn and grow and develop. But as long as we are spending time doing anything other than having conversations with prospective clients and people in our local market area who may either do business with us at some point or know somebody who could potentially do business with us at some point. Any time that's not committed to having those kind of conversations is time that is not spent moving the needle forward in your real estate business. And far too many people get started in this industry and they let so much time pass that they're not having those conversations, and then they ultimately get out of the business because they never gave it a real opportunity to get traction because they just were not having enough conversations on the front end. So the way you can outwork your competition is by doing more work on the front end to create conversations, to connect with people in your local market area, and to get your name out there, because you can very easily put yourself among the top 5% of realtors in your local market who are out doing the most work on the front end. There's not 100% of people that are fighting for the market. There's a whole lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines doing little to nothing to get their name out there, to create conversations and to be consistent about it. So you can, from day one, put yourself among the few who are. You might not be great at it at first. You may or may not be a people person. You may or may not be someone who's super sociable, but that doesn't matter because you can grow and develop in this area. The key is that you're carving out those hours, that you're spending the time, that you're putting the energy into it, that you're putting the work into creating these conversations, showing up, adding value, and getting your name out there. There's a quote I heard, 10,000 cold calls will teach you more about sales than any book will. I'll say that again, 10,000 cold calls will teach you more about sales than any book will. So that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to develop. Are you really willing to put in that kind of work? Regardless of how many calls you make, will you put in the work no matter what it takes to get the result you're after? Because the people who want the business the most in your market, they will. But what I'm pointing out is that not everyone will. In fact, it's far and few in between that will actually put in that kind of work ethic. And you can put yourself among the few in your market who will. You can absolutely outwork the competition. And if you do that, you will have your share of the local business. It's a matter of time. It's not going to happen instantly. You're usually 90 days out from an activity that you do in real estate to really seeing any result whatsoever with it. So you just got to understand, you got to show up consistently enough for long enough until you can expect to see a result. But if you take massive action, the closer you'll be to that result at the end of the day, because action comes first, and action comes before the belief. A lot of times we're not going to believe in what it is that we're doing or ourselves until we put the action in first. I mean, think about it. If you're not doing anything, do you really believe that you're going to have business coming in? But what if you're applying yourself? What if you're putting that time, energy in consistently, and you're doing that for a very long period of time? The more you do that, the closer you are to a result. And it's going to get to a point where, I mean, shoot, if you're putting in the work, you better believe that you deserve it. You better believe that you deserve to win. And on the flip side, if you're not putting in the work, well, you probably don't feel like you deserve it or deserve to win, because like, what are you doing to go and earn that business? So you've got to have a work ethic. You got to put in a high level of work ethic. And if you do that, you absolutely can and will break into your local market, because there's so far and few in between people out there who are actually hungry going out there and getting the business. And you know what? There's a lot of agents who are more established in your local market who aren't putting in the same kind of work ethic to get the business, because they're working on repeat referral clients. They've built up their name in business for a long enough period of time that they don't have to go out there and get all the business. So if you're coming into the market, you've got an edge because you have the time, energy, and work to put in, because you don't have all this other business going on. So, there's even people doing business. It's not like they're all competing with you on the work ethic. Some of them may be, but not all of them. There's a lot of them that are just scooting by, taking care of their existing clients, and they're not putting much in the way of time, energy, effort on the front end to go out and find new clients to work with. So, those new clients to work with, you can get a nice chunk of them just by putting yourself out there and doing the work to go get them. So outwork the competition. And then the third thing is client experience. And I would tell you this is the big one, because the first two are a given. Honestly, the first two are a given. You've got to lean into your uniqueness, because if you don't, nothing's going to make you different. No one's going to remember you. So it's imperative that you do that. It's imperative that you have a high level of work ethic, because if you don't, you're not going to have any business going on. So the first two are a must. The third one is really the big difference maker, though, because it's creating a client experience. So few people do a very, very good job of this. Even people who do well in this business, who sell a lot of real estate, a lot of them fail to create an experience for their clients that is exceptional. And so you have an opportunity from day one to create an exceptional client experience, to really go over the top, show people you care. What can you do to show the people who you're working with or who you have the opportunity to work with in the future that you truly care about them? It's leading with your heart. Do you follow through on what you say, and do you over deliver on it? And think about it. How do people feel when they're working with you? What kind of experience do they have? You should aim, think of any situation where you've ever had a great client experience. And maybe you haven't, but it might have been at a restaurant. It might have been at Nordstrom's. It could have been in a lot of different places, but think of an exceptional experience you had in any scenario with any kind of business out there. It should be your goal as someone who's in business, as a business owner in real estate. You should strive to create the best client experience that anyone ever has, not just working with the real estate agent, but anywhere they could potentially get an experience with another business owner or with another business. So that's what you're competing with. Create with, hey, what is the best experience out there? How can I create that for the people who I have the opportunity to serve and work with? Because it's that client experience that people will spread word about you. And I'm not talking about a situation where you have to ask for referrals. I'm talking about a situation where someone's experience is so amazing working with you that they literally cannot help but tell their friends and family about it. They cannot stop talking about you. How can you create that kind of experience where it's something unlike someone's ever had before working with someone? Because most people in business are just thinking about their next paycheck. They're thinking about getting paid. And I'm not expecting that you got into this business to run a charity. I'm not expecting that you got into this business to not get paid. But what I am saying is, if you focus on the money, you're going to fall on your face and fail more likely than not. Because the people you're serving and working with, the last thing they care about is you getting paid. So you got to lead with what they do care about. What do they care about? They want what they're, trying to do as far as home ownership goes, or selling the house, but they're going to get that service anywhere they go, working with any real estate agent, assuming that they do a halfway decent job. But where you can stand out is in that client experience and creating an exceptional one for the client. So strive to do that. And if you do create an exceptional client experience, you can and will stand out in your local market, even if you're newly licensed, getting started in the real estate business. And if you take those three things and combine them, you absolutely can and will break into a market no matter how saturated it is with local real estate agents, because there are so far and few in between that are doing any one of those three things, let alone all three combined, leaning into their uniqueness, applying a strong work ethic, and creating an exceptional client experience. And if you do those three things, it's gonna be lights out as long as you stick with it, as long as you do not give up and you keep going. Because the hardest thing about getting into real estate is the 0 to production element of it. You know, sometimes that takes a couple months, sometimes it takes over a year. And I'm confident with that in mind for those who I'm helping on this journey that it doesn't need to take a year plus to get that initial momentum. It can happen in a significantly shorter period of time. And the way that that happens is the people I'm working with, I'm helping them shave off time off that learning curve, because there's a long learning curve, you know, to get things started in the industry. There's more than just these three things you need to know if you're diving into the industry for the first time. But these three things are what you need to know to break into the local market. But with that in mind, if there is anything I can do to potentially help you now or in the future, if you're just getting started in the real estate industry, if you're trying to figure out what to do next to really become successful, to get a successful start in the business, to get from a point where you may be at 0 deals right now or close to 0 deals, and you want to build that up to a significant level of production and volume to really create something in which you're building a strong foundation and create a lasting career in real estate, I want to help you do that however I can. So reach out to me if there's anything I could potentially do to help. You'll find my contact information, including my email, in the description below, and some other helpful resources that are there for you as well. And beyond that, all I'd ask is that you like, comment, and subscribe so that I can continue to share more tips and resources to help you on the journey ahead into real estate. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching the video, and until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.